Okay, just getting ready for everything to go live. And waiting for Twitch. Because it seems to be going slow. There we go, now Twitch is up. Okay. So, we are getting ready for the last race. Yep, so last race of the season, we are at Pocono. Finally was able to get that running. Just testing out some of the chat. Let's see. Just so that I can see everything and don't have to miss it. Okay, there we go, got it. Alright, so we are good to go. Let me just go ahead and open up YouTube and get that started before we start the race. So we're at Pocono, last race of the season 1. So far it's been a very interesting race to say, or interesting season to say the least. Oops. Turned up the volume on my test screen. And I think we are good to go now to start the race. Alright, so welcome to Pocono. Let's go ahead and get this started. Where are we at? And let's start the game. Yeah, man. There we go. Alright, single race, so we'll be doing 30%, so it'll be about 60 laps, just because the speedway is 2.5 miles long, so it's actually a very long course. So we'll go ahead and turn on the screen for everybody to see. So we're at 95%, just because the FSE tracks tend to race better at 95, so anything above 95 they usually slam into the wall, which is one of the reasons I was having issues on the previous race here at Pocono. Everybody was just slamming into the wall outside the corner, so I did a couple test races and they're good to go. So here is the starting grid for the Pocono race. So let us get going. Hopefully nobody blows an engine on lap 1. We'll see which one goes. Everybody's starting. Hopefully nobody blows an engine, because I don't really want to restart the race again. And it looks like everybody's good to go. I think I added all the new sponsors. We got 52. Juith has his new sponsor added, so we are good to go there. As we see the front 2 Prescott, actually, and O'Brien and I think Grubb, as they get the green flag, and they enter turn 1. And it looks like Grubb may have gotten a little bit of a push, though he does have a teammate right behind him, and O'Brien really doesn't have anybody. But he's also running extremely high. That's the front line, or that inside line or outside line in that turn may be very good for him, as he is just driving away in that 55 car. So definitely something that was very interesting. That high lane for him in that first turn, he was going extremely fast. As again, outside the turns, it looks like O'Brien in this 55 car is extremely fast. Everybody else seems to catch him on the straightaways and entering the turn. It seems that outside line for him is extremely well in the turns. We do see race. We can actually go to race, so we can actually see not just the fastest lap. See 55's right there, but 15 of Grubb is right behind him. As they seem to be pulling away a little bit from the pack, as the 0 of Thorn is a little bit on her own, as that gap between the 15 and 0 is growing. But it looks like the 15 of Grubb has finally got in his groove and slowly catching up to O'Brien. We'll see if O'Brien is able to keep that line going for him, as he seems to be going a lot closer to that inside lane than he has been, which seems to slow him down a little bit. So I'm not sure why he is taking that inside line, trying to cut Grubb out, though. Here comes Thorn in that 0s. Ooh, looks like 15 of Grubb bumped the 55 a little bit out of the way, being a little bit aggressive driving there. So he seems to had Thorn in that 0 and 55, as he was looking for pass. Thorn tried to get past him, so he had to bump. Ooh, he almost slides right into O'Brien, causing O'Brien to seem to check up a little bit, having to slow down a little bit, because it looked like Grubb was going to slam hard into him, but didn't. So that really took O'Brien by surprise, with Grubb almost putting his car into him. Looks like Thorn and O'Brien aren't really as fast as this 51 of Barker, which is Grubb's teammate. And then Prescott and Pitch in that 6 is coming along. It looks like O'Brien and Thorn may be getting stuck on that outside line. Though it looks like he did, Thorn and O'Brien were able to drive past. I think O'Brien is very fast on that outside line. Looks like he's taking those inside lines when he has help, but it doesn't look like he is as fast as he is usually, as we do see Grubb pulling away a little bit. As we can take a look at some of the back racing towards the back of the pack. So it looks like Jay King in that 11 car still battling for position. Like he is with Martinez and Haas in that 8 car, as that 8 tries to get to the inside of Martinez, but just not enough room and having to back off a little bit. We do see, especially in these front stretch, that this entire track is used. Though as soon as you hit that corner, most cars drop to that inside line if they can get to it. But it looks like for some of these cars, like O'Brien and a few of these other ones, the outside line is much faster if they can use it. But with with some people behind them trying to pass, they try to take that inside line, just trying not to leave that inside line open. As you can see, Thorn did end up passing O'Brien in that 55. We'll see if O'Brien goes back to that outside line that was helping him, or that was causing him to go extremely fast. As we do see Thorn taking the inside of, I think, Barker in that 51 cars. Ooh, they look like they almost touch, but Thorn looks like she backed off a little bit just as they were about to touch. I'm not sure if Barker saw her or not. But it looks like she's going to have to come back around in one of these laps to try that again. As she did get a good run, but Barker was able to close that door extremely fast. And the reason he was not spun is because Thorn did let off a little bit. So we do see the pack is starting to stretch out a bit, which is definitely a good thing for some of these cars in the front. They definitely do not want any caution flags flying, at least early in this race. There is only 60 laps, but the track is actually 2.5 miles long, so it is a very, very long track with 3 turns. So it's definitely an interesting track and definitely a fun track for the drivers. But it looks like Barker is going to try to go for the lead against Grubb, his teammate. But definitely they do not want to touch and cause a bad finish for that Mayflower team. Has been very hot towards the end of this race. You see there's some battling going on towards the back of the pack. So we do see this front, about 6 drivers have for the most parts are in a straight line. We can take a look at the back. Look at Martinez has dropped off the pace a little bit. Has about 2 car lengths from Jay King, but it looks like he is catching up by taking that outside line. So Jay King definitely not having the greatest second part of the season, as I think he did pretty well during the first part of the season. Take a look at some of these other cars going on. I think Walker Sr. Getting into the race based on his points only. As a few of these drivers did not have the greatest qualifying times and end up having to rely on their season points. So we take a look at some of these. Fadden in the 35, one of the newer drivers who's working on basically just getting some experience before next season, when he definitely goes for the Rookie of the Year, as he did not meet the minimum requirements to run for the Rookie of the Year this season, or not qualify for next year's Rookie of the Year season. As we see Green in the 42 running. I think he's one of the original player owner cars. He's currently in 19th, and he's hoping for a good finish today. And then we see Rollins in the 45, which is Mayflower's 3rd car in this race. Currently in 10th position, so he's staying back a little bit. I don't think he qualified too well today, but I think he's slowly working his way up. And we take a look at right as Barker does take an inside line on Grubb. It looks like O'Brien is going to try to help out Barker in that 51. Though it looks like he may try to go 3 wide. Definitely do not want to go 3 wide, especially entering into the corner. Pocono is definitely not a track you want to go into the corners 3 wide. Straightaways you can go 3 wide and usually are not an issue, but definitely somebody needs to back off before they hit that corner. But it does look like Grubb is holding off his teammate, even with the help of O'Brien, as O'Brien looks like he had to check up entering one of those corners and now has dropped back about 2 to 3 car lengths from Barker. So we'll see if O'Brien is going to catch up to see if he can help out Barker. It looks like Barker is going to try to pass his teammate for the lead early in this race. This is lap 11 of 60. We take a look at some of the other top 10 racing. Looks like Prescott in the 19 is going to try to take 4th place from Thorne, but Thorne has all the drafting help she could use, though Taylor now has decided he's going to try to help out Prescott. But Thorne definitely did jump to that inside line when she had a chance and cut off Prescott, as we'll see if Mass in that 17 is going to start getting passed. Looks like Taylor in the 57 thought about going in between both of them, but looks like he didn't have any help. But Prescott's right there. Ooh, he does take that turner very hard, and looks like he did bump into Mass a little bit, causing Mass to slow down. So definitely a very aggressive turn there, as they're going 3 wide into the turn. So far so good, but Mass did have to slow down extremely a ton to get through that turn without crashing. Look at pitch in that 6, extremely aggressive heading into that turn. Now it looks like he is bringing Rollins with him up to the front, as Ward, his teammate, is also on the tail end of Rollins as well. Seems they're going to link up to try to get to the front. Though it looks like Pitch may be trying to get into the main pack with Rollins still on the outside. See if he takes this turn aggressive in that 45. It doesn't look like he does, but he is definitely looking on that inside line of the 6 car, but just does not get it. But he does end up getting past the 17th of mass for that 8th position. As we do see that front 2 cars are starting to pull away, so it looks like they will need some help. These second or third and fourth probably have to work together to try to catch back up to these 2 front cars. As we see Cargo in the 54, we haven't seen him in the front for a little while. I know he had a pretty good showing for a few races, but it's kind of dropped off the off a little bit. Oh, Rollins takes that turn extremely hard and almost bumps Cargo out of the way. I'm not sure if that's the teammate thing. Is for the most part, the Mayflower team members have taken turns extremely hard, bumping cars almost out of the way, causing them to slow down and lose a couple positions before they can get back up to speed. That's definitely something to look into, as Rollins is looking to see if he's going to get on the inside of Prescott and the 6 car. Yeah, it looks like he's going to enter this turn not very aggressively, but he's still right there with the 19, as Cargo in the 54 is right back beside him. We'll definitely see if Rollins is going to take that turn aggressively with Cargo, but it looks like Cargo decided to slow down a bit. We take a look at the front. It looks like Grubb and Barker right now are pulling away, as it looks like Grubb is going to go into the pits. Not sure if it's time to go in the pits. It doesn't look like anybody else is going in, so I'm not sure if there's an issue going on with him. It looks like 2 cars went into the pits. As we see Grubb and Taylor both heading into the pits on the green flag on lap 16. We'll definitely see if there's something going on with any of these guys' cars, or if they're just taking an early pit stop to get ahead of everybody. But it does look like this is just a normal pit stop, so looks like no issues really going on. But there's definitely a ton of wiggling going on over there. So we take a look towards the front of the pack. It looks like everybody else is going to come in now. Looks like a couple cars are going to stay out just to get a couple leads or a couple laps led and move up in positions. There are a few 3 wides going on here. Definitely not something we want to see, especially in the middle of a green flag pit stop. But it looks like everybody was able to go clean there, as Mass looks like he may have bumped into somebody. We'll see if that's going to affect the 6 car. Looks like the 6 car was the one that got bumped into. We take a look at the pit stop, see if any issues happen as cars are exiting pit road. It doesn't look like it. Looks like everybody's going to be able to get out clean, and everything is good to go. As we take a look back at the leaders, looks like the second group is going to head into the pits now. Now we can definitely see what is going to happen here. Should not be any issues, as it's just regular routine pit stop for most of these guys. And it looks like for the most part, most cars have entered the pits. It did look like these first 3 cars out may not have taken any tires, as they exited the pit extremely quickly. Maybe they only took 1/2, but they definitely did not take a full pit stop. So we'll see if that gamble pays off for them, as most of the other cars are starting to exit pit road, and everything for the most part I think will start to get back to normal, as there is an issue with Bowers in his 05, as he's going extremely slow in the middle of the track. Not sure what is going on with him, but he definitely needs to either get out of the way or get to the inside line. This could cause a caution flag if you can't get back to the pit road, as he's only going about 40 miles an hour. This doesn't cause any caution. We'll definitely. He is slowing down a ton. It does look like, for the most part, everybody got back to their starting positions. Looks like there may be a couple of cars. Emerson looks like he was coming out of the pits, but he is also slow. Though at least Bowers is now completely out of the way, so if he does slow down and stop in the middle of the track, that may be an issue as we do take a look at some of the racing going on. As we take a look at, or at least Bowers is for the most part out of the raceway, though he is now going about 17 miles an hour. And again, there's another car in the middle of the way. I think he is running out of gas, but he is actually in the raceway. And he's going about 20 miles an hour. And I don't think Bowers is going to make it, as it does cause a caution, as he is not able to get to his pit stop. I'm not sure what is going on with these very slow cars. He may have ran out of gas as he is multiple laps down. Looks like the 33 of Weber, no fuel. Looks like his decision to not take a full pit stop is hurting him. As again, looks like Bowers and Emerson is on the same boat. As Bowers is now backing up because he has no power. And now he's starting to back up into the pit road. At least he got out of the way. And it looks like Emerson is not going to make it either. But he actually almost made it back to the pits. So we'll see if they are able to get back into the race. I don't think so. But it looks like for the most part, most cars are going to come in for another pit stop. Probably just to top off, maybe get some new tires. Though it does look like a couple of cars are going to stay out, as you know, they just took a pit stop. So we will see if Emerson and Bowers are going to be able to come back in. I don't believe they are, as the 33 also ran out of gas, but we'll have to keep an eye on this. Everybody taking a pit. Looks like some cars took took an entire pit stop. Looks like so far two cars, Reeves and Bishop, did not take a pit stop, at least not in that first caution flag. And it looks like Pitch was the fastest pit stop there on that race, and then Thorne, O'Brien, and then Grubb and Rollins. So Rollins is here. We'll take a look. Looks like Barker came out. Not sure where he came out, but we'll see this on the next lap. See what happened. All right, so we are on the final race of the season. So it'll be 25 car playoff. So if you've won a race, if one of your cars has won a race, they are automatically entered into playoffs. And then after that, it will be depending on who. It'll be on points. So the first couple of racers, I think, have won races. But then whoever hasn't won a race, who is the furthest up in the points, will make the playoffs. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that, as this is the last chance for some of the drivers who have not won a race to get back into it. Though it looks like Emerson and Bowers were able to get their car fixed up and back out onto the track. That's definitely good, as we only have one car out right now, as Weber ran out of gas. Though we do have, looks like Reeves in first, and then Bishop second, Pitch third, Thorne fourth, O'Brien fifth, Grubb sixth, Roland seventh, and then looks like I got past him. Yeah, Barker, who was towards the front, also dropped back to 9th place. So definitely have to keep an eye on them, as O'Brien right now is just trying to catch back up. So as right now, everybody who hasn't won a race is still in the running for the playoffs. At least this week is the last week to try to get it. But for some racers, they will have to win to get into the playoffs, as some of them are pretty far back in the point standings. So we will definitely see what happens here. But after this, for the most part, the playoff standings will be set for, I think, the first race. Where is the first race at? Not sure where the first race is at. Maybe Daytona. And I think Daytona is the second to last race. Talladega, I think, is the first race. So I think Talladega is the first race. And I'll check on the third race. But overall, has been definitely a fun and exciting season. Some very interesting races. And a ton of things. And then definitely in the playoffs, we'll start seeing how Season 2 will work in the playoff, or in the regular season with qualifying, as qualifying will be turned into basically two heat races that I'll be streaming as well. And basically they will be right at 36, and that'll be basically how similar how it is here. The 36 races will go, and then from 36 to 41 will be based on points of the racers who didn't make it, and then the last car on each race will be whoever is the furthest back active driver in the point standing. So I think right now Clinton made it this week, which I think he is towards the back of the pack as well. As we take a look, actually Clinton is pretty far up. So Clinton 25th currently. He actually got the last place driver this week, so he got to make the race even though he did not qualify for the race. That just lets some of the newer drivers be able to get into some of the races and not have to miss multiple races in a row. But yeah, we do see Emerson and Bowers in that 84 and 05 respectively coming up to try to get a lap back. They are both 2 laps back, and we only have one car right now, which is Weber, who ran out of gas. So far no crashes, which is a good thing for most of the drivers who are trying to make. I think Weber won a race, so even though he is finishing last, he has still made the playoffs. Reeves, I think, is running for a playoff spot. I think Bishop last week won the race, so he's already in the playoffs. And then these two, Bowers and 84 Emerson, I don't think they've had the greatest season, but if they can come back and win this race, they can definitely make the playoffs as well. But they're definitely starting out in the back and have a lot of work to do, as we are on the last pace lap. And we are getting ready to go back green, and we'll see if there's any action instead of just cars running out of gas. It does look like, I think it's that Davis is pulling into the inside. I'm not sure what's going on with him, but we do get a green flag, at least for now. I'm not sure why that car jumped down into the inside line. We'll take a look and keep an eye on him, but definitely something that doesn't usually happen. But he is starting to go back into the pack. It looks like the front is definitely showing, as you see 24 and 12, Reeves and Bishop, showing that they definitely probably should have came in for those fresh tires. I mean, even though they were only a couple of laps of use, you can definitely see the difference between that couple of laps wear has done. Is that Ford definitely is keeping up with these cars. So he definitely does have a fast car. Looks like Bowers may just be getting pushed by Thorne, as Thorne definitely has an extremely fast car today. As she has been towards the front of the pack almost the entire time, as she looks like she's trying to get into that middle of Emerson and Bowers, but was not able to get a run. So it looks like she's going to have to try again here. Yeah, she did have some help by Pitch, but Pitch looks like he may be getting a run heading into this corner. He does have O'Brien right behind him with Rollins, so he definitely has some good fast cars behind him. We'll see if he's going to be able to get pushed past Thorne, as Grubb looks like he may be back or falling back. Excuse me. So definitely keeping an eye on him. Not sure why he is falling back, but good for some of these newer drivers. Reeves still has been able to keep a hold of this race, of the lead for so far this entire lap. But there is some battle going on right behind him, as the top four are right next to each other. So it looks like Emerson is getting pushed by Bowers. So definitely these two lapped cars do have decently fast cars. They just, I think, just ran out of gas towards the end of that first green flag. So we'll definitely keep an eye on there. Something wrong with Davis's car, as he is going extremely slow. He's about 10 to 15 miles an hour off pace. So we will keep an eye on him, see if he's going to be allowed to stay on the track. Not able to keep pace, but that is going to cause some issues, I think, for some of these cars towards the back. We'll see if Reeves is able to get past him pretty quickly, or if it's going to cause Reeves to get pushed back. But it looks like he has a little bit of time before he catches him, as there is a ton of battle going on. It looks like Grubb has finally got back into the groove and is starting to make up a couple of positions, as he's going for the inside of Pitch. It's like he might be able to get past him alone. O'Brien is right behind him. We'll see if O'Brien decides to help him out, but O'Brien's still a little bit further away. But Thorne is going for the inside, seeing if she's going to be able to be pulled by Grubb in that 15 car. She does have the two teammates behind her, so we'll see if they help her out. But it does not look like she has decided to stay with them. So she almost left that. Oh, there goes. She did leave that inside line a little bit open. And we've definitely seen this entire race that the Mayflower teams are not afraid to bump cars out of the way to get past them, as all three cars are right next to each other, almost in this top 5 position. It looks like Grubb did run a little bit high, so I think Rollins in this 45 is going to try to pass him. Wasn't able to get past him that turn, but hopefully they all stay clean. As we do take a look, it looks like Davis is a little slower. No, actually, it looks like he may be getting back up to speed, but he is definitely not going as fast as he should be going. If we take a look at some of these other cars or other races going on, we'll see. Looks like Sheets and Hannah in the 16 trying to battle it out, but he was not able to get past him this race. We do see Clinton. He is starting to move up a little bit. He's definitely one of the newer teams, so he's a one-car team race, or a one-car race team. But he is definitely showing a very good showing today, currently in a top 20 position. We'll see if he's able to finish it out. But definitely good to see some of the newer drivers be able to move up in the field. We see Prescott in 11th place. He was towards the front earlier, but looks like the pit stop ended up pushing him back a little bit. And then we see Thorne in the 0 actually getting pushed all the way back to 8th place. So she's had some work to do to get back up. Looks like she probably got caught on the inside of a long drafting line. But we'll have to keep an eye on that. As we do see Bishop may be getting passed by a few cars. Now we'll see what Rollins does in that 45. If he's going to help out 12. Looks like not, but 12 is not going away even without any drafting help. But still, Reeves again is still leading this race. It looks like Davis, who was going extremely slow earlier, finally got back in his group. Still not going extremely fast, but is able to stay ahead of Reeves in this 24 car. And then these two lap cars have just been holding back the entire pack. These guys definitely, I mean, they're a lap down, but they're not slow cars at all. But if they can't get past Reeves, they may not be able to get back into the race, as they're currently 40th and 41st. Yep, 40th and 41st. So that's definitely not good showings for them or their team. Even though you can see that they do definitely have fast cars. Looks like Reeves, I mean, it is slowly but surely catching up to that car, or that Davis's car. But Davis definitely showing that he has a decently fast car, but really is only what seems like he's just slowing down the bleed. As it looks like somewhere in this track he is not very fast. As we do see Paul trying to get past Prescott in this 19. I think Prescott has dropped back a couple of positions, so hopefully no issues with his car. But it looks like Paul in that 4 is going to be able to pass him, and Guerrero in that 18 is right there too. Yeah, looks like, see if he's able to get to the inside. Looks like he is not. As we do see still the teammates all, for the most part, linked up, trying to get to a top 5 position. As we do see Reeves has finally, for the most part, caught up to the Davis car. I think the 56 car. But it doesn't look like he is going extremely slow, so it may not be an issue, as he's shown that he is going okay, decent speed. And Brooks, who has had a very good showing earlier in this season, but has not had has not put together multiple top finishes since. I know he's been in a couple of wrecks, but definitely he has, I think, 3 wins, so he's still in the playoffs. As we do see Pitch now getting past them, but it looks like they are going to head into the pits for the first pits in this green flag pit stop. So it looks like Emerson and Bowers will get a lap back, at least for now. We'll see if Grubb is able to stay ahead. As the front 3 teams are right there, but they're driving extremely close together. So hopefully they do not have any issues. As we see, Bowers now has decided he's going to try to take away 40th position from Emerson. I think these two right now are hoping for a caution to get, basically spin around and try to get back onto the lead lap. But the more they are battling, the more likelihood they're going to go back 2 laps down. We do see a couple more cars heading into the pits, though Grubb is not one of them. Grubb looks like he is more intent on trying to pass these guys to put them back 2 laps down. Hopefully that does not hurt them or hurt his team at all. See everybody running into the pits, as I'm sure most of these other cars will head into the pits very soon. As that Emerson is just trying to stay just 1 lap down. We'll see. I believe most of these cars will come in, and it looks like they're going to stay out again. Actually, decent amount of cars have stayed out multiple laps. So Grubb may just be hoping to get past these 2 cars, put them 2 more, or get them back to 2 laps down. And it looks like Davis in that 54 has decided to go into the pits. Actually, I think he may have run out of gas. I think some of these teams do not realize how long this track is. As it looks like for the most part everybody else is heading to the pits, though it looks like Brooks is going to stay out, as well as Kim looks like he's going to stay out as well. I think he is part of one of the earlier pit stops. As Brooks looks like he's just trying to lead a lap before heading in. It looks like he is the only one that still hasn't pitted yet. So we'll definitely see. Looks like, I mean, he's still up at the speed, so he definitely still has gas. But yeah, definitely is a very long track. So 2.5 miles. So some of these cars look like they have decided to try to stretch it out. I mean, we were about halfway done with this race. Yeah, it looks like Brooks just wanted to lead a lap as he comes down to the pit road for the most part completely alone. So he has the pit road for the most part all by himself. Ooh, this looks like Mass has some damage to the inside of him, but it looks like they were able to fix it. I'm not sure what happened with him. Actually, let's go ahead and take a look, see what happened with him. Maybe something happened on the pit road. Alright, so it looks like it happened earlier in the race. So it looks like he just had some side damage, but as you see, the pits, his pit crew was able to fix it. And he's out. Did take a little bit slower in the pits, but he was able to get his car fixed up, so that's definitely good to see. We're waiting for this next lap to see who is leading currently, as we did see the 80 run into the pits. As he should not be still the leader, but it looks like he just wanted to lead at least one lap in this race. Did you see? It may be the 6th car in the lead as they come around to the line. There's still green flag as we hit lap 39 of 60. We do see, I think Rollins. Yeah, Rollins at 45 right here with them. Yeah, it looks like Emerson and Bowers did end up going back to 2 laps down. So definitely not what they wanted to see. Working extremely hard to get their lap back, but does not look like they are going to do that or get back. We do see Reeves still in this race, currently 3rd place now that Rollins passed him, and Bishop may be passing him as well. But yeah, ooh, these front 2 cars just look like they just drove away from Reeves. As we'll see how long it takes for Rollins to decide to take that inside line. You take a look at the fastest lap. Looks like the fastest lap was the 56, who I think is a lap down now. And then it is Paul and then Taylor. Ooh, it looks like Paul ended up taking the fastest lap at 50.92. So he's definitely going fast. Looks like that outside line is fast. We'll see if Pitch is able to hold off Rollins. It doesn't look like he was able to. As Rollins is still right beside him. Yeah, we see Mass towards the end. Looks like maybe he does have some aerodynamic issues. You take a look at some of the racing going on in the back. Looks like for the most part, most cars are stretched out. We do see Barker. He's currently in 15th position. And then Davis, I think it's a lap down. So he was having issues early in this race, and it looks like he may just be racing right now for position, as it does not look like he's able to keep up to speed again, as Brooks in that 80 is just trying to get past him. Let's see if he's able to drive past him this time. See if Davis leaves his inside. Nope. Was not able to get past Davis, at least not on that lap. As we do see a pitch in the 6 getting passed by a couple of cars. He led a couple of laps and looks like he may be dropping down to 5th place depending on what Grubb decides to back. Looks like he's going to back the number 6 car, at least in the straightaway, though it looks like he may have taken a look on that outside line. Definitely not a line you want to take heading into a corner. But it looks like he will be pushing the 6 past Bishop. It looked like Bishop was going to get past a couple of these guys. And now with that run, Pitch in that 6 car is looking to the inside of Reeves. And again, looks like Grubb is deciding to back the 6 car as he is starting to work his way back up. We'll see if the 6 is able to hold off the Grubb in that 15. He does have a little bit of help by Bishop, though Bishop has decided to hop to the outside, heading into this straightaway as we get another lap for Rollins. And we'll take a look at some of these other cars who are basically battling for position. Now, some of these guys are just looking to get a couple of positions in the point standings just to, for the most part, try to get a few more bucks for next season. As everybody will make some money for their standings. As we see Grubb now looking for that 2nd place position, seeing if he can pass Reeves, who Reeves has been doing extremely well this race. He led multiple laps, so definitely a good showing for him and his team. Well, it looks like Pitch has decided to follow Grubb. Looks like he almost bumped into him and had to back off a little bit, so definitely taking it easy versus that 15 car. So we'll see if Pitch in that 6 is going to be able to get past Reeves a little bit later. As really, Mass is all alone for the most part. It looks like he may be off the pace by a couple miles an hour. Looks like he got to about 192. As we can take a look at Rollins, who currently leading this race. See if he's able to get to 192 as well. I mean, it may just be actually, yeah, it looks like he's about 4 miles an hour off, so they may be able to catch him, as most cars have for the most part stretched out. Jay King currently in 28th position. I know he did very well at the beginning of this season, but has slowly found his way towards the back of the pack. Ooh, they are going 3 wide, and ooh, Thorne and the 27 of Clinton do bump a little bit, but he was able to not get turned. So definitely a good thing for him, as he would have went straight into that wall. As we do see Pitch now into the inside of Reeves, as he does pass him on that straightaway. We'll see if he's able to stay low. It looks like he's trying to stay low, and it looks like Reeves will not be able to get past him on that turn to get that position back. As we see Grubb currently in first place. Looks like he is entering. I believe they are catching up to Mass in the 17 car extremely fast. Mass is currently the last place car on the lead lap, but it does look like he has at least one straightaway in front of Grubb. So definitely doing pretty good. Moto, 37th position. He's one of the newer drivers, so he's not having the greatest race today, as well as some of these other cars towards the back. As We see Walker Sr., Walker Jr., 31st and 33rd. You know, they had very good start to the season, but have slowly moved to the back as well. And we looks like Martinez, who started this race towards the back of the pack, has started to slowly move his way up. He's currently 25th position. He's actually has been quietly finishing decent, so he's towards the front in the playoffs. He may be able to sneak into the playoffs purely on consistent finishes. So we'll definitely see about that. I know consistency will get you into the playoffs, but it definitely will not let you win. You definitely need some front finishes. We see a small pack forming here with Juith in the 52, showing off his new sponsorship deal. I think with Kingston Printing, currently in 23rd. So I think he wants to have a hopefully a top 20 finish, but he does have a little bit of work to do. As we do see almost a 3 wide going on back here with Jay King and Martinez, but it does look like they were able to stay just 2 wide. As we see these top 10 battling going on right here. It looks like there's a little bit of 3 wide going on. We'll see who's going to back off first. Somebody should back off. Yeah, it looks like maybe Guerrero did bump into Prescott a little bit, and Prescott got a little loose but was able to stay out of the wall. As we do see Barker right now battling to get back into the top 10. Does have some work to do. I don't think he had the greatest pit stop, as he almost went 3 wide, but decides to back off as they start to enter this corner. And then we see somebody's going into the pits. Looks like they are heading into the pits again. Definitely interesting amount of pit stops here. This is definitely a very long race, as there may be some issue going on with Vega right now, as he is definitely not going very fast. Grubb looks like he is currently the leader, and definitely something going on with Thorne in the 0 car, as she has dropped all the way back from basically a top 3 position all the way to 38th. And the same with Reeves. So definitely some issues with this very long track, as multiple cars have dropped back a couple positions. We'll see if these pit stops will able to sort themselves out, and they're able to fix some of the issues they're having with some top drivers are falling back. We take a look at some of these pit stops going on now. For the most part, everybody has been staying clean. This race, a couple bumps here and there, and a couple drivers trying to get into the pits very aggressively, but for the most part, everybody else has been staying clean. Let's take a look at Moto, who's currently in 27th position, and of course with green flag pit stops going on, a lot of these positions are extremely fluid right now. As we see Grubb, who should be in still first place, is now coming into the pits. But it looks like Brooks stretched his pit stop out earlier in this race, so was able to lead a few laps, I think. Yeah, it looks like he led lap 52 of 60, as we do not have that much time remaining. Again, I think there's something going on with Vega's car. It looks like Paul in the Forest decided to stay out as well. As we see Thorne coming very hard into Haas, as she may be working her way back up. She's currently 35th, moved up a couple of positions. And it looks like she's going to stay out a little bit longer. Yeah, she definitely did not have a great second half to this race as she was very far up in the field, but just dropped back to the 30s very quickly. Looks like the exit of pit road is fine, with a couple of the leaders' fast cars are still here. Looks like she only moved up a couple of positions, staying out so far. But of course, once these cars that came out of the pit lane get back up to speed, they probably will be able to pass her pretty easily, especially with all of their new tires. They are heading into the pit, or heading into the corner. You see Clinton right now in 19th position. It's definitely a good position for him to be in. As we see, ooh, three wide for a little bit. Looks like Ward went into the grass. Looks like pretty smartly ran into the grass instead of trying to get into the field. That may come back to hurt him later on, but at least he will finish the race without crashing out. As we do see, I think Brooks should head into the pits sometime soon. As you can see, Rollins, who has new tires, just flies past him, as he should take a pit stop very soon, or he's going to have some issues later on with gas. Well, he's going to have issues later on with gas, as well as he's going to have issues with not having very good tires. Even if he's able to stretch out his fuel economy, he still may have some issues with his extremely worn out tires. I don't think he can get another, I guess, 6 laps in with them. As we do see, Massa still in 38th position. A small pack forming here. Looks like Walker has slowly moved up a tiny bit. He was towards the end of the 30s. And then Thorne again to 20th position, so she was able to work her way back to the 20th position, but she definitely had some issues towards the end of that last stretch of green flag laps and dropped all the way back to 38th position. So she has a ton of work to do. As we take a look, Big Barker currently is in 15th position, battling with Cargo. And then King has worked his way up to 16th position. See if he's able to make this or finish with this run. As we do have about 5 laps remaining. As we see O'Brien currently in 9th place. He had a very good qualifying, and there's about 5 laps remaining. He's still towards the front, so he definitely has a chance to get up there. But he's definitely right there with him. And Brooks has been able to Brooks has for the most part been able to stay up there even with extremely worn out tires. I mean, right now if he pits right now, he is dropping back to the end of the to at least 38th. So he is going to have to stretch out those tires and the gas in his tank for another 4 laps. So it's definitely something that's going to be close for him. He definitely has a chance to run out of gas. So we will definitely see how aggressive he is towards the end of this race, as we are on that 57 of 60. And you can definitely see the lack of grip on his car is showing. I mean, he did drop down a couple of positions, but he has been driving extremely well to keep Paul and Pitch both behind him. We'll definitely keep an eye on this, though currently Grubb is running away with this. He's over 2.5 seconds ahead of second place, his teammate, and then 3 seconds ahead of somebody who's not on his team. And then Mass is about 30 seconds back, but we'll see. I don't believe Mass is going to be an issue. It does look like everybody slowly catching him. Doesn't look like. It looks like they caught up by a couple of tenths of a second. But if they continue to do that, they're still not going to be able to catch him with about 2 laps remaining. But this front group has caught up to Rollins in that 45. So Davis or Brooks in that 80, driving extremely aggressive, especially when he is running on extremely worn tires and not sure how much gas is left in his tank. I believe he has enough to go through the rest of the race. At least his crew chief has decided that he has enough to get through the rest of his race. And he's definitely showing that his car is extremely fast as he is keeping up with that second place car with much fresher tires and staying ahead of 2 other cars that have much better tires as well. This pitch in that 6 car takes that turn extremely wide and leaving Reeves with some room, but Reeves just did not have the run to do that. As here comes Brooks to try to get past Rollins, as right now they're just racing for second place, as first place is just has completely driven away. We'll see if Brooks and his crew chief are going to basically play an extremely smart race. If he is able to keep, if he's able to pass the start and finish line, as we are on the final lap, as we do see a pack starting to form right here, trying to battle out for second place. Hopefully everybody stays clean as we are entering into these final corners. We'll see if we have a 1-2 of Mayflower Racing. Brooks in that 80 really has a chance to get past Rollins, depending on if he's able to get run and if he keeps the if he has enough gas in his tank. But so far it looks like he does have enough gas in the tank, as it looks like it will come down to Rollins and Brooks for second place, as Grubb for the most part has run away with this race, as here's nobody around him. And then coming down, his teammate will finish second, and Brooks definitely a extremely smart pit stop, not taking that pit stop towards the end of the race, but definitely smart for him and his pit crew finishing third place, when he definitely most of the time he finished towards the end. As we take a look at the standings, as we wait for a few minutes for the official standings to come through. But for the most part, it looks like Grubb and Rollins will finish first and second place. So definitely an interesting race. There was a ton of movement. Brian finishes 51st finished 9th place after being second, and then Barker, who qualified on the pole. Barker, he finished 14th, so we dropped back a couple positions towards the end of that race. And then Booker and Prescott 19. Look like Prescott dropped back a decent amount, 19th position after qualifying, I think, 4th place. But so congratulations to Mayflower Racing, finishing first and second place. Extremely hot towards the end of this race. I'll just say Poco. But definitely very hot for Mayflower Racing. They definitely did very good. And there's definitely some drivers are trying to make a run. I think Grubb, Rollins, Brooks, Pitch, all 4 of these guys have made the playoffs based on wins. I don't believe Paul won any races, but he may make it purely on points. Reeves, definitely a good showing the last race, Bishop won a race. I don't think Ward won a race. He may have won a race earlier in the season, not sure. Brian, Guerrero, Jarvie. I think Jarvie won one. We have definitely a few drivers that have won a couple of races. I think Weber won like the 3rd or 4th race of the season, so he definitely made it. Looks like Emerson ended up running out of fuel towards the end of that race. But Mass definitely finished on the lead lap, but definitely had some issues with his car. But yeah, congratulations to Mayflower Racing and Grubb for that win at the last race of the season. So yeah, I'll try to update the race, the money and everything. I think I'm still missing one race of the money. I think race 19. So I'll try to get 19 and 20 done before playoffs start. But yeah, thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you guys in the next race at the start of the playoffs.